You know when you're listening to a native Portuguese speaker and it feels like there are these extra little words sprinkled in everywhere. Words you just can't find in your textbook, but they add this punch, this rhythm to the language. Well, today we are unlocking the secret behind those expressions, and we're going to start with one you've definitely heard.
Okay, so you probably learned to ask, what is your name? Just like the phrase on the left. ¿Cómo te llamas? It's simple, it's direct, it works. But then you get out there and you hear native speakers saying the version on the right all the time. ¿Cómo es que te llamas? They mean the exact same thing. So,
What is that little eki actually doing in there? It's probably one of the biggest questions for learners, and honestly, it's the key to sounding way more natural. It's not just some random filler. It's a real tool, and we're about to break down exactly what it's for.
that AK is part of a whole family of what we call emphatic expressions. And their job is simple, to add focus or, some expressiveness. The most important thing to get is that they don't change what you're saying, they just change how you're saying it. They add the flavor, the personality.
So here's our game plan. We're going to solve that AK mystery first. Then we'll build out your very own emphasis toolkit. We'll look at how to frame information, how to shine a spotlight on the subject, focus on people, and then we'll wrap it all up with the big takeaway.
All right, let's open up this toolkit. Now, instead of thinking about these as like boring grammar rules, I want you to think of them as actual tools you can pull out to make your point better, to sound more like a native speaker.
Inside our toolkit, we've got three main instruments. First up, we have a tool for framing the focus of your sentence. Then, one for highlighting who is actually doing the action. And third, a really cool tool for emphasizing the people who are affected by that action. Let's grab that first one.
Our first tool is the ser que construction. Its entire purpose, its whole reason for being, is to grab one specific piece of information and put a giant flashing spotlight on it. It's basically screaming, hey, pay attention to this part right here.
And the best part is, it's surprisingly simple to use. All you do is find the piece of the sentence you want to emphasize, and you literally sandwich it right between a form of the verb ser, like or foi, and the word que. Let's see how it works.
This is a perfect example. I mean, you could just say, nos conocemos aquí. We met here. Simple enough. But by saying, foi aquí que nos conocemos, you're putting all the emotional weight on the location. The point isn't just that we met, but that it happened right here, in this special place.
And here we go again. Same idea. Eu quero falar contigo. I want to talk with you. Totally fine sentence, but é contigo que eu quero falar, that makes it crystal clear that you are the one and only person I want to speak to. It's not just anyone, it's you specifically. See that focus? Okay, let's move on to our next tool.
All right, tool number 2 is even easier. Seriously, it just involves two tiny little words, ka and la. Their job is to shine that spotlight directly onto the subject of the sentence, the person or thing that's actually doing the verb.
And the rule for this could not be simpler. You just use ka when you're talking about yourself, so I or we, and you use la for literally everyone else, you, he, she, they, you name it. That's it. That's the whole rule.
So if you say eu cá vou ao cinema, you're adding this little bit of nuance. It's like saying, well, I don't know what you all are doing, but as for me, I'm going to the cinema. It kind of separates your actions from everyone else's and puts the focus right on I.
And it's the exact same idea with la. Saying tú la sabes has this feeling of, well, that's your business, or you know what you're doing, it's your call. It puts all the ownership and focus right on tú, on you.
See? Super simple, right? You just pop in ka or la right after the subject and bam! You've added this extra layer of emphasis that just makes you sound so much more natural. Time for our final tool.
Okay, our third and final tool is all about doubling down on the people who are on the receiving end of an action. The objects of the sentence. This is what you use when you really, really want to stress who is affected by something. So the trick here is basically repetition for effect. You say the object pronoun where it normally goes, but then you also add it to the beginning of the sentence with the preposition a, just to really hammer the point home.
Check this out. Pagaram minhas despesas just means they paid me the expenses. But adding a mim at the start, that's like saying, as for me, I'm the one they paid all the expenses to. Maybe they didn't pay anyone else, but they for sure paid me. The emphasis is just undeniable.
Here's another way to do it. Convidaram just means they invited him. But adding a ele right after, it clarifies and it stresses the point. It's like it answers the unspoken question of who with a powerful him. They invited him specifically. No room for doubt.
So there you have it, 3 really powerful, but actually pretty simple tools for your Portuguese emphasis toolkit. Let's just do a super quick recap of what we've just packed in there.
So remember your 3 tools. You've got ser, que frame and highlight one specific detail. You've got ca or la to put the spotlight on whoever is doing the action. And you have that a plus pronoun trick to double down on who is affected by it all.
And this brings us to the most crucial point of all. None of these tools change the basic meaning of what you're saying. This is all about style, it's about focus, it's about personality. It's the difference between speaking correct Portuguese and speaking real, authentic, expressive Portuguese. And that really leaves us with one final thought. Now that you're in on the secret, now that you know about these emphatic expressions, what new layers of meaning, of intention, of personality are you going to start hearing the next time you're listening to a real conversation in Portuguese?